Well, hello everyone. Here we are with our next little project. We're going to be making a folding folio. You can probably read it there. It's quite large writing. And this particular folio is made by My Porch Prints. It's a kit. And you can go and download it from their Etsy shop. I'll put the link down below in the description area. And if you're wondering, where is this description area that everyone talks about? Down below the video, there's an area that has a bit of a description, and then it says more. And if you click on that box, it'll drop down a bigger area, and depending on who it is, it'll be, some will be quite large and others will be smaller. But that's where you're going to find the link to this kit. My Porch Prints is a really good outfit on Etsy. I really enjoy their kits. They're usually quite pretty and very usable. Very much can be used in any way that you want to use them. So anyways, this is the kit we're going to be doing, and it actually, there's two that are identical. One is called the Neutral Folding Folio. The other is called Pink Damask. So when you get a kit and you print it out, you would print it onto cardstock. Now, My Porch Prints does this really nice bit of instruction. On the actual printout, up at the top it will tell you, or sometimes it's on the side, but it will tell you if you should be using cardstock, paper, or what you should be doing. Now this one says print two-sided using printable paper provided, which I've done. Now this one I've cut out. This is the neutral one. This is the Pink Damask one. But if I turn them over, you can see that I've also printed on the back side. That's what it's talking about. So they do have papers included in the kit that you can use. So this one has a really pretty, kind of roses and faded. It's very old looking. And this one has, it's kind of a mishmash of papers. So I consider this one more masculine, this one more feminine, but they are both the same kit. So this is your folding folio. This is side B, it's calling it, and it has, you can barely see it on this thing, but it has actually got lines here, and you would cut, and so it would look like this. You're going to be scoring these, or we are, later on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together the neutral kit the first time and in this video, and then I'll put together the Pink Damask one in another video and make changes to it. So this is the one part of it. This is your sort of next part. You can see that I've attached them together so that you can see that they are identical. This would have been over on the side. I don't know. Yeah, you can see that. But so you just cut things out as you come to them. This one is also printed on two sides, which just gives you that finished look on the other side. You can use actually any paper you want to. If you have other papers and you really prefer them, then definitely use your own papers on the back sides of these to add in whatever color or patterns you like. This one is the flaps. This is going to be called the flaps. So you've got flap A and flap B. When I cut, I put them on very faintly. I put the letters on so that I know which is which when it comes to actually putting the thing together. And this one is also printed on both sides, so you can see. So you've got all the pieces for the thing. This is a funny looking flap with a couple of round circles at the bottom, which if you've got a hole punch, is really easy to punch them out. Just line your hole punch up on the circle and just cut them out with that. It makes it so much easier than trying to cut them out by hand. And the My Porch Prints people, they tend to make these the sizes of different hole punches. So this one I think is a 1-inch hole punch. Might be 3/4. I haven't actually measured it, so. But anyway, there's the holes, and I've cut extras because I want to stack them. So this is also printed on both sides, and we'll be putting, like I say, putting these together. They'll make sense when we put them together. I'll just kind of clip them for now, and gotta get these in place, or I'll lose them, and then I'll say, where are my circles? No, we don't need to do that. It's really easy to lose stuff on your desk when you're crafting it. You get things everywhere. And then this is another section. Now this one does not have flaps. This is called side C. It's going to glue onto one of those things. And again, this one is not double-sided. And I have marked on the back of this one side C so that I know, so I can flip it over, because that's going to be glued on to one of the other parts. And so is this. We're done with ones that are double-sided. These are not, because they're going to be glued down on something else, so you're never going to see the back. And this one, this is another one. These are pockets, obviously. Well, obviously to people who actually do journals and cards and things, paper crafting. If you're new, you might not recognize the shape, but this is a very common shape for pockets, especially in journals. And we tend to put a lot of pockets and things into journals because that's basically, it's what it is. Albums and journals have pockets. And this is the last page. So this one is another pocket. It's a bigger one. It's we call it a panel pocket, and it'll go flat like this, and it'll be glued in place, and you can tuck things inside. So that's it for in this kit, and I'm going to shut the camera off and organize myself and come back and do the neutral kit. We'll put it together and you'll see how it's done. All right, talk to you in a few. Okay, I'm back. Got everything sorted. Now I wanted to show you that in this particular folio, and this isn't in all the folios that My Porch prints or anyone else does, but this one actually has a very nice set of directions in how to put this thing together. It just makes it so much easier when you look at it, and then you can say, oh, okay, that's what I do. We're going to follow the directions, and we're going to put this one together exactly as it was originally meant to be put together. And then when I do the next one, I'm going to be doing different things with it, cutting things different and doing things a little bit different. So this one will be exactly how you should put it together. Very simple. All right, we'll set that to the side. Now, there are a few things, a few parts that need to be scored. When you score something, it just means that you're putting a mark down the line where it's meant to be put, in order to be able to make it easier to fold the paper, for one thing, but also to help prevent your cardstock, because this is cardstock. It's not a heavy weight. I don't use a heavyweight cardstock. I use actually lightweight. It's a 110-pound index card, which is 199 GSM. Anyway, when you fold, sometimes your cardstock will crack. And by putting in the score mark, it means that it helps to prevent that cracking in lighter weight cardstock. In heavyweight cardstock, you may still end up getting cracks in it. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to put it so that I can actually score it. That looks like it's lining up pretty decently. I think maybe I need to move it over a little bit. And I move it to there. How's that? Are you with me, you sunshine thing? These can be annoying to try and do. There. I'm lining it up with the little line. There's little marks, and you want to follow those. It just makes it way easier to try and move down. And my scoreboard isn't necessarily going to look like your scoreboard. Yeah, mine actually has inches and quarter inches all the way along the top and the sides. Some of them have 1/8 inches on them, and well, mine actually does as well. The 1/8 inches between the quarters. Anyway, your scoreboard might look smaller. It might look different from mine, and that's okay. You just use whatever you've got. as long as you score your lines, and all I'm doing is putting my tool, and this is the tool that came with this scoreboard. It's not the one I use for everything, but my other one seems to have gotten itself into the other room, into my craft room. Now see, I moved it crooked and I was scoring crooked. Not good. There we go. Alright, that one's done. This could be painfully slow if I don't pay attention to what I'm doing, so let me just put my tongue in my teeth and try and do this. So I'm just lining it up. I'm lining their line. Well, actually on this one I'm lining the corner because the line is not at the corner and I want it at the corner to fold. So I'm just going there and straight down. Seems like my printer might have just printed it slightly off. I find that these kits are generally really quite accurate, which is really quite nice, because I've had some kits where I try and put them together, they're not accurate and you're kind of guessing what on earth am I supposed to be doing with this. Well, on the last piece now. And there are thousands of kits, probably hundreds of thousands of kits on Etsy that you can buy that are digital. If you're searching, look for digital journal kit or something along that line and you'll get the right things. Alright, we're done with the scoreboard. We're going to set that down on the floor and then we're going to start putting this together. Now, if you can see here, it says use these two pieces with side A. Now this is not side A. This is something else. So we set that aside and look for side A in my goodies. That's side C, that's side A. So there's side A. So the first thing we want to do is we want to turn these okay. I am trying to figure out what it's doing. Okay. So I'm going to bend these, and we bend them toward the back. And then you're putting them onto this page, center it, like get your points on each end. And this is doing this. So it's going in like that. So it wants me to glue this onto the back, so I'm going to do that right now. Alright, glue. It looks like I'm like squeezing out a lot of glue. I'm not. The hole in this bottle isn't very big. So a little bit comes out, a very little bit comes out at a time. So in order to put enough glue, you have to look like you're putting a lot more than you are. Now, make sure I've got this to this, that to that. Okay. Alright. And that it can fold. You gotta make sure it can fold. So you make sure that you're only going up to, actually you're just slightly this side of the fold line so that it will actually fold. Then I want to do one more. I should have my gloves on. This side. No, don't do that. There you are. Just pull you up. Yeah. You have to talk to them. Otherwise it doesn't work. There. So that's that part put together. Well, I'm going to set that up here. And then it wants me to do 2 other bits. These bits. Flaps A and B. And they're going to go here, here. So we do, this is A. It's going to go like this. And B, which is going to go like this. And what we're doing is we're putting a part of it together that will come back into play once we're done. Once we get to the point where it can be glued onto the whole item. Okay, we're gluing. Lining it up, making sure it can close, pushing it in so that it's where it belongs, and then giving it a good rub. Alright, next one. Now we do the bottom part. And generally in these kits they have you put together however many extras there's going to be sort of put into it first, and then you put the base together. And it might be a bit confusing to new people when that happens, so I'm just kind of warning you that you may end up doing something like this, which you're going, well, that's not the base. And you're right, it's not. But it's okay, because it'll all come in when it's supposed to. There, that's that part done. Now, the next bit, and it says the back will now look like this. So there's the back, and if I unflap everything, you can see, oops, unflap it all, kind of what the back looks like, and that's what they're showing you in this picture, is that you've got this going on. Alright, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you, and why I'm reading the directions so closely is because I'm trying to show you that, you know, the directions step you through. Once you do a couple or 3 of these, you can go ahead and put them together without the directions and do whatever you want with them. Now we want side B, and that's the one with the flaps. That's the one with these. And we're going to want this side C and where is my side B? I think this is it. Okay. Let me see. So we've got this. Okay. It's actually this, it looks like. Okay, so we bring this in. I haven't put it together in the right order for a while, so bear with me as I kind of figure out what they want me to do first. So they want me to glue this to this, like that. So I'm going to glue to this. Now I'm going to, what they call train this to fold before I glue something onto it. It makes it easier later on when you're going to be folding, because these flaps are meant to be folded. Alright, there we go. Now we do this and glue onto the flap. Don't glue onto the thing, and it helps you to get the glue better, lined up better, and all the rest, so you're not over gluing onto areas that you don't want to be glued at this point anyway. Alright. Yeah. And they want this on this side, so we line it up again. Line it up. Bend this so that it can bend around it. Give it lots of space to do its bendy thing. Make sure it's pushed in far enough. Come on. There you go. I'll move over just a bit. Yeah. That's better. Okay, that's that in place. And then, now what do they want me to do? Okay, apply glue, blah blah. Okay. So, now if I look on the back, now I have that. I have that glued on. Okay, now I want to put on side C, which is this one. This panel. And I'm going to take this little tab. This is an extra bit that you can use to add to your label. I think I'm doing the right one. Let me just make sure. Oh, side C they're doing is the back cover. Oh, I set it underneath the thing, of course I did. So this is actually the back cover. So you put that on to cover up that back area. So we're going to do that because they want me to do it now. And I just do some around the edges. I kind of wiggle it back and forth because then I get glue better. If I just do a little line, sometimes it blobs out and doesn't do a line, it skips. So if I do it like this, then it doesn't. You can also sort of wiggle it. Anyway, a little bit of glue in the middle and pick it up. This is, I should have my gloves on, but I don't this time, so anyway. There. And move over a bit. Yeah. Like that. Kind of want it. Yeah. That wasn't real good. Move over. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Okay, that went crooked again. Always love it when you have to, you know, peel it up more than once and all the rest, but there. Okay. That's that down. Then the next thing they want me to do is put this guy on. So, get out the trusty glue. I have to figure out which way they want this one put on. There's side C. Yeah, we're going to put it over top. Okay. Just doing little circles to get the glue down. If you've got a bottle that puts out a lot of glue, be careful with it, because if you end up with too much glue, it makes the paper too wet or the cardstock too wet, and you can end up with bubbles and it doesn't dry as quickly, so it doesn't grab as quickly. Right. Don't do that. You want to try and line up the bottoms or the tops, like so that it looks nice and neat. And don't really bend it over. Make sure it looks good. Okay. Down again, bend it. There we go. Okay, I'm just figuring out where they want this thing. I think they're saying they want it here. No. They want it here. There's that. See, here's the panel. Here's this panel. I'm so used to doing this, with doing it my own way. They want this in here, it looks like. So I'm going to glue here, here, and here on the other side, of course, and then glue it in. And what that does is it makes this into a pocket that you can put things into. So, along this side here. Now this is where you do want to kind of get a bead of glue, because you want it thin. You want this to be as thin as... It ain't coming out thin, I'll tell you that right now. But that's okay. It's thin enough. The thicker your sides and bottom are in glue, the less room you have to put stuff. That's what it comes down to. So if you want to be able to put a wider piece in there, then you want to have that really thin. So you can do that. All right, let's get you in. Yeah, this way. Okay. All right. Our camera stopped, and I had a look at the instructions and realized that I had put that pocket in the wrong place. They wanted it on the back of this. So I took it off, and yes, it looks kind of ugly a bit, but I took it off and I put it where they want it, where in the instructions it tells you to put it. Then I will fix this as we go along. But the next thing they want is these pockets. Now, one goes here and fits, and that'll cover up a good deal of the stuff that got torn, and then we'll worry about the rest later. Now, when you're going to put these pockets in, test them, because they just fit. So what you might want to do is trim a little off either both sides or one side or the other before you lay it down and glue it. So I am finding that it is pretty tight there. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit off of each side with my, this is called a guillotine trimmer if you don't know. They work pretty slick, but you have to make sure you line things up evenly. Or you'll end up with crooked cuts, and I mean I can cut crooked all by myself. I don't need help from a trimmer. Anyway, we're going to just take a little bit off of this side as well and make sure, I want to just make sure that my line is straight. I'm lining it up with this line here, making that my line, so that over here is going to cut off fairly even. Alright, that does that. Now we may have to take some off the other pocket, but right now I just want to make sure this will fit. And then on this pocket, let me see how that folds. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so on this pocket, you're gluing on this side, and this side. And you've got a fairly decent sized pocket there. Give yourself, like I say, room with your glue. So down one side or up one side, whatever. Make sure there's enough glue it's going to hold in place. And I prefer glue over tape, and definitely over glue stick. I find that glue stick wears out, dries up or something after a very short time, and your product starts falling apart, and that is really frustrating when it happens and you've got a whole journal put together and now you have to re-put it together. So if you like the glue sticks or whatever, you can use whatever thing you want to put yours together. I prefer glue. And I put this in, and I put it right down to the bottom because the other thing came to the top and bottom, and if I put it to the bottom it covers up all of that stuff. You could shift it up a little tiny bit if you wanted to show a little of the edge. In this case I'm not doing that. Alright, there we are. That seems to be sticking fairly good. Still able to close. Able to close on the other side. Okay, and we have this one. Now let's make sure it's, see, it's actually over a little bit too. If we put it, it's actually sitting over. You can kind of see it there and there. So I do want to take a tiny bit off of this one as well. It's just kind of the way that you cut them out, and there's a lot of things. It's your printer, it's like all kinds of things, but you may have to take this little sliver off. Let's line you up with this one this time. Don't forget to hold this plastic bit down or your stuff just drifts around. That's your way of holding your paper in place. And then I'll do this side. I don't want very much off. I want a very, very small amount. This one doesn't need a lot off. It's just sticking out just enough to be irritating. There. Alright, put this one down. Get in place. Make sure it's not sticking out over this edge. So mine is just inside that edge. You probably can't see it on the camera, but it is just inside that edge, which is perfect. Now I'm gluing, again, I'm gluing on here, here, and here to give me the pocket on the top. You can glue these in different ways. I mean, if you wanted to have your pocket on the side, you certainly can do that. Just glue the top instead of the side. You know, the way that you do these things is entirely up to you. Once you get it, you own it, and you can put it together in many different ways. And I'm going to show a bit of that when we do the pink damask one that's exactly the same as this. And I'm going to do it different, and it's going to look different from this one. Alrighty, we're ready. Put that one down. I want it down to the bottom. I want it there. There, looking pretty good. I got ink all over, or glue all over my desk again. So I will be getting that wiped off in a big hurry. Oh, my favorite editor is here. He's bringing me Kleenex or cloth. It's actually Lysol cloth, cleaning cloths. I really quite like them for this. Anyway, okay. Now, we have this little thing here, which goes on the back of this, right here. Just glue it down right on the back, and I am not going to glue over top of my thing like that. I'm going to actually turn it weirdly. But I'm going to turn it here, and then put it on here. And it's small enough that you can have a nice little border around. So we'll put some glue on you. There we go. Glue. Pick it up. Flip it over. And place. Try and place it straight. I do try. I don't always succeed. I have a bit of problems with my eyesight sometimes. So. There we go. Alright. And that's that. Now, the last thing to do is over on this side. Remember the circles? We have circles. Now I didn't glue all these together. I have two. One is to go here and one to go there. They go kind of, you know, like that. And then what you do is you put a brad through, and you're going to wind some sort of string or whatever fastener around that to close this thing off. Okay. It may look like there's been a bit of a hiatus. There has. But I'm back, and we'll finish this up now. Okay, so we were doing these little buttons. Now you can actually use buttons if you want to in place of these circles. The circles are in the thing just in case you either don't have buttons or don't want to use them or whatever. Now I cut a couple of extras. They are from scrap. So, you know, that one's got a bit of printing on the back of it and things like that. And I've got 3 extra for each of these circles. And I'm going to glue these extras together to make a pile so that I can put it behind the circle. And then I'm going to punch a hole through all of them using a pokey tool. A pokey tool is the unofficial name that we all seem to use for the little pokey tool thing. It pokes holes into stuff for you. I seem to have 4 of one. I had to put one away. I want them the same in this case. You can make them different heights if you like, but I'm going to have them the same height. So there's that one put together and ready for one of these to go on top. And we'll do the same with this. It takes longer to do things than I thought it was going to. The camera, our camera is a Canon, and it has a tendency to shut off every about 11 minutes and some 50 something seconds. So we have to stop every 10 minutes to make sure that we don't miss something. Anyway, here we go. All right, I want to put these together underneath one of these and then poke the hole in. I know it leaves glue and you have to poke through the glue and everything, but it means that I get the center where I need or the hole where I need the hole. Now you might notice that there's a little mark here, and I've already poked a hole where that little mark is. There is a mark on your circles, so you can, you know, poke the whole thing. I do have a punch for holes that's actually a hand punch, but I don't know if it'll go through all of this. I can give it a try and see, but I don't know if it will. I'm going to try with this one because it's a little... Now this happens to be a 1.5 millimeter hole punch, which I think is like 1/8 in the US. Oh, it worked. Hey, look at that. My hole went right through. So I'm just lining it up with the hole and poking it through the previous hole kind of thing, and then working real hard there. Now to put it onto here, and I want my top coming over top of the bottom rather than the other way. You can do it whichever way you want. You could actually do it this way and have that fold in and these fold out and have it tie this way. It's entirely up to you how you do yours. I'm doing mine the way they tell me on the directions, just to make it so that you know exactly what. I'm reaching over here for a pencil. I know I have one. Okay, and hoping it'll go through that hole. Give me the mark I need. Yes. All right. And then you sit down here. Probably should have left the one on the top, but I won't get it in the same spot. And you go here. Yes. Alright. Then I take my punchy thing. Don't need glue anymore. Take my little punchy thing, line that up with that mark. And then over here, oops. Punch. Now, brads. What is a brad? What they are is they're a little thing. These are really little. You get one that's a little bigger so you can actually see what it looks like. They're a little thing like this. A button of some sort on the top. And then they have these two little feet that come apart and they flip side to side. And they're in the olden days when we had lots of paper and we didn't have a lot of staples and things like that, we used these to hold paper together. Today I'm using them for holding these on, and I have some really cute ones that are really tiny. I have these ones that are little tiny heart, or stars I mean. They're teeny tiny little stars. And I have some over here that I really like. And I'm running out of them, and I hate the idea of not having any more left, truthfully. But these ones are tiny little buttons. And I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Not a clue if you can see that, but it's a tiny little button. and they're just adorable. So you put your legs, these back things are called legs, you put them through, and then you slide it through the other bowl. And I like to turn them with the buttons. I like to turn them so the button part, the two little holes, because it looks like a little tiny button. And I like to turn them so they're straight. And that means that the brad legs are going up and down rather than side to side, but it's okay, because back here it doesn't matter. You know, there you go. And what you can do to make it even more solid is you can put a piece of tape back there. You can actually take another piece of card, like I've got this circle, and you can glue that back there. I don't know, can you see that? Where you glue that back there if you want to cover it up. I don't really mind. These are so small and so light in color that you really can't see them. You know, you do what you need to do or what you feel like you want to do, and find brads that are really cute. I actually got these. I have no idea where they originally came from, and I haven't been able to search any out. These little tiny buttons or these little stars. Haven't seen any of them that are that small. I got them actually at the thrift store. And if you are looking for craft supplies that are, and you don't mind them being older and, you know, being something different than you're going to see, go to your thrift stores. Because when somebody is either, they're changing crafts, we all do it, they're changing from one craft to another, and they need to make room for the new craft, they take their stuff to the thrift store. They donate it to the thrift store if they don't have anywhere else to donate. Some donate to like their churches or the schools or whatever, but there's a lot lands in the thrift store. If Grandma and Grandpa are going into a nursing home or into smaller places, they quite often have to get rid of their stuff. If somebody passes away that's a crafter, they get rid of their stuff, and that's how they do it. I'll leave that till later. Okay, so now we got the buttons on. Now we need a way to tie this up. And I found this really nice stuff. This again is thrift store stuff. This really nice, it's well, a cord. It's twisted. It's not a real thread. It's heavier than a thread. So it's heavier than a thread, more like the weight of a button thread or heavier than that. But it's got this really pretty shiny stuff running through it. And you can see on the card that it's got gold and silver both in it. And it's white kind of, but there's also some beige. And I like it. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors here and chop off some. I don't need a huge amount. Now you can do these again. You can do these several ways. I like mine, if I'm going to be twisting it and tying it, I want it from the top down. So what I do is I take my stuff and I want to tie a knot in it that's not going to slip. So you do a knot, I don't even know the name of it, but you do left over right and tie that. Pull it in because it's going underneath those button things that you put on the back, the material, and then do left over right. You do right over left, left over right. And that won't slip. And then I usually tie one more time. I do the left over right one more time. And because I'm afraid that it's going to come undone. Never has. I always just do that. And then cut it down to the edge on that side so it doesn't show. And that way you don't have to glue it. It's just tied there. And then you can kind of bring your thread around and you tie it. There, like that. And that's it. That's our whole thing put together. Now from here, oh, I haven't shown you this yet, and I will. So from here, once you've got this done, now you can decorate it any way you want. Bring out pretties, bring out, you know, some ribbon or lace or pictures or whatever. Like I have a picture here on my desk. I really like this thing. It's cranberries. It's actually cranberries. It came from a package of dried cranberries, and I liked it, so I cut it out. This is what junk journal people do. They take garbage and they hold on to it until they find a place for it. So this could go on here. It could be, you know, glued onto either one of these places or over on here or wherever you want it. But things like that. I mean, you know, get out pretty things and or manly things. I mean, in this case, you might want to put picture of tools on it, for all I know. Anyway, we have a bit of an oops on here. We want to get that looking good. Now, I don't have a dull gray pencil. If I did, I'd use it. But I do have a Sharpie that is a metallic. It's a metallic silver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler so that I at least stay reasonably straight. And I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to kind of color that in and see how that works. And if it's too shiny, well, there's lots of things you can do. I mean, you can decorate that if you want with a piece of ribbon. But I can just do the whole edge if I want to. I can do the same thing here. Come down on that line that's already there and just, you know, edge along like that if I want. Sort of color this part in. It's not perfect, but it does give you a way of covering it up. Now, if I had a gray, I would have just used a gray, but I don't. This is what I have. So use what you got, make it what you can. There, it's more or less covered. But like I say, you can take a piece of ribbon or a piece of tape. You could run a piece of tape. I have this tape. It's actually a striping tape for vehicles. And I could use that along there and, you know, I black, red, blue, green, yellow. Any of those colors would work. Fitting in with my theme, I could take some of this actually and run it along there. You know, make a bow where that happens to be. Things like that. I mean, use your own imagination and figure things out. If you have a mistake, don't panic and don't consider, oh, I have to throw this out, because you don't. You just do something to cover it or incorporate it into your project so that you're not chucking things out. Because the idea of junk journaling or doing things for junk journals is to use stuff and reuse and recycle and all that. But that is it. That is the little folio. This one is the neutral folding folio. And the next time I see you, we'll be doing the pink one different. And I'll keep this one beside us so we can compare the two at the end. All right, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. And let everybody know that you know to subscribe to us. You subscribe if you haven't, please. Every little thing that you do helps the channel. Make comments, ask questions. I'm here to give you a hand with doing things if you need it. Thank you very much.